Welcome to this episode of Q&A with Liturgy Man. I'm Taylor Burton-Edwards, Liturgy Man with Discipleship Ministries of the United Methodist Church. I'm your apportionment dollars at work to help you strengthen worship and the understanding of worship where you are. Today we have a special double episode on the Apostles' Creed. Two different questions about the Apostles' Creed as we have it in our hymnal. 881 and 882 in the 1989 United Methodist hymnal, the traditional version, and the more recently developed ecumenical version. The first question is, why do we use the word Holy Catholic Church in the Apostles' Creed? We're a Protestant church, right? So why are we talking about the Catholic Church if we're not the Roman Catholic Church? Well, the simple answer to that is the word Catholic, as it appears in the Apostles' Creed, is not referring to the Roman Catholic Church. It's actually referring to the whole of the church, wherever it is. This word Catholic in English is actually a transliteration of the Latin word Catholica, which in turn is a transliteration, not a translation, of the Greek word Katholiki. And that Greek word Katholiki comes from two smaller words, kata plus oli, and kata means throughout, and oli, the whole. So literally, breaking it down etymologically, it means throughout the whole world, the church throughout the whole world. But in its technical usage in early Christianity, this term Katholiki means more than just the church was everywhere in the world. It also referred to the unity and the wholeness of that church in Jesus Christ, who makes it whole and who made it whole throughout the whole world. So this word Katholiki became really useful, so useful to describe all of that in one simple word, that when it came time to translate it into Latin, the decision was made, we're not going to translate it, we'll just transliterate it so that all that meaning that we have from Greek gets carried over into Latin. And then the very same thing happened in English when it was time to translate this creed into English usage, beginning in the time of the English Reformation. So it became the Holy Catholic Church in those older versions of the Apostles' Creed. And then, once again in the 70s and 80s, as the English language liturgical consultation, an ecumenical body of Protestants and Catholics working at coming up with a version of the Apostles' Creed that we could all use together, came to the same conclusion. This word Katholiki has so much power in it, we might as well just keep it, because you can say Catholic, 3 syllables, and capture all that meaning all at once. So why not do that? Now, because all this work has been done ecumenically and is describing the wholeness of everybody, Protestant, Roman Catholic, everybody in the church alike, our wholeness, our being throughout the whole world also, it doesn't make a lot of sense for any single denomination to say, well, I don't like that translation, let's go to a different one, when we actually worked on it together to come to this one. It'd be a bit above our pay grade as United Methodists to decide to change it ourselves. And so we have not done so. Second question, about the traditional version where it says about Jesus that he was crucified, dead, and buried. Whereas in the more recent version from the English language liturgical consultation, the ecumenical version, it says he was crucified, died, and was buried. The question is that a typo? Crucified, dead, and buried, as opposed to was crucified, died, and was buried? Shouldn't it say he was crucified, died, and buried? Well, actually, it's not a typo. It's a translation, because the Latin there, the Greek before it, was a series of perfect passive participles, or aorist passive participles in the Greek. That kind of construction, in that case in the Latin crucifixus, mortuus, et sepultus, that stringing together of 3 perfect passive participles was the sort of thing you'd find regularly in Latin usage, and it simply carried over into English usage at the time as well. That kind of construction is no longer the way we tend to look at things or the way we talk about things. It sounds kind of odd into modern English usage. And so when the English language liturgical consultation was working on it, rather than doing a literal translation. And of course, by the way, a literal translation there would be having been crucified, having died, and having been buried, which would be an awful lot of words to say. They simply said he was crucified, died, and was buried. So it's not a typo. It's just a different way of translating it that makes more sense in the modern version for how we would say it today. The early version's not a typo. It's perfectly fine. It just fit better with the way English used to be constructed along these lines. Hope this has been helpful. Remember, you can always contact me, worship@liturgyfolks.com, liturgyfolks.com, through the UMC Worship Facebook group, or drop a line on this page. And perhaps your question or comment will become the basis for a future episode of Q&A with Liturgy Man. May the peace of Christ be always with you.